So you want the details of the mechanics for the DALRIADA without the fluff? You're with friends here. This video guide is going to only go over the most important mechanics of the DALRIADA fights without going over the small stuff like dodge orange markers, stack for stack markers, take red tethers out. If you're at this level of content, I know you know these sorts of things, so fluff begone from this video. Timestamps are going to be in the description and the comments to skip what you need. First things first is let's talk essences. So what is the best essence to take? Any essence. I don't care anymore what it is. Any essence is better than none. Even now, I see people still not using any essence at all. Even the basic essences, not even the deep ones, are a huge, huge bonus and honestly should be very seriously taken. Even if you are extremely gil broke and cheap, just bring along Lost Steel Sting and Lost Spellforge for physical or magical bonus damage. There are so many opportunities in this fight, in this dungeon, where you can get a physical or magic damage bonus, and I can say, such as me on Machinist, I'd love to carry Lost Spellforge for all of the robots because there's so many throughout the fights, but my kit can't allow that because I'm taking things that provide even more value. So even if you are super cheap, pop one Spellforge and one Steel Sting, and you can keep it forever on and contribute a lot. So my recommendation, aside from that, is to focus on damage essences. There seems to be a lot of defensive essences, but once people really have the fights down, I really do not think that we need to worry that much about everyone having Lost Shell and Lost Protect. It is so little damage in the first place that it's not that big of a difference, so use whatever damage essences are optimal for you, such as if you are on Healer, Aether Weaver with Ordained and Chain Spell, or Aether Weaver or Ordained with Chain Spell, either or, is super good for healers. My personal loadout accounts for if we do not have a healer, then I can take up the mantle myself in emergency situations, which has unfortunately happened once before. But as a ranged DPS, ranged physical DPS, my normal loadout is Lost Dervish and Lost Assassination, and that is a constant uptime buff for me when I use Essence of the Beast, that Lost Assassination, making me hilariously durable and deal high damage. I cannot stress enough though, and that I put this section explicitly at this point of the video because we do need more people using essences, so please use them, it really helps a lot. So now into the fight mechanics we go. So fight 1, you split the party, and this first fight is broken up into 2 fights, one bottom and one top fight. Maximum number of people for the top is 8, limited by the number of bikes needed to get up there. Try and pull top and bottom around the same time. Now let's specifically talk about topping. You will fight Saboteur the Inferno. He will cast Time Eruption, which will place clocks on the ground, move from the slow spinning to the fast spinning ones to avoid the AoE. You will later reverse this by casting Reverse Time Eruption. Pyrokinesis is a raid-wide AoE. Fenix summons birds on 2 sides of the field, dodge between them. Meteors will be spawned down, have one person stand in each circle. Burning Blade is going to be a tank buster. Manithwan Flame is going to be a raid-wide AoE that will have 3 crosses placed on the field. Dodge, where the crosses will move forward and away from where they are originally placed, as they will also explode in a circle around their starting location. Dodge right or dodge left for the right or left brand mechanics. Once you've taken out that, you will have a bunch of trash ads that will spawn in, expunge all of them, but one single ad, that will be enough to just have that one ad not die in the instance so that you can basically chill. This is why people like topping DALRIADA, because it's more chill. Now let's talk about bottoming. Bottom is comprised about 3 smaller fights. Anti-personnel missile will mark areas in succession to dodge in the same order that they are marked as. Read orders, field support will spawn enemies on one side of the arena that you can dodge. This is then followed by analysis. Analysis will place a circle around you with an opening. This opening is going to be an actual shield, not the orange part. The orange part is not a shield. There's going to be a wall of ads that is spawned at the exact same time that you cannot dodge that will be spawned. Following the ads outside of the arena, adjust your positioning so that you can avoid the one side that you can avoid and that the other side that you cannot avoid is going to be blocked. Now this will bring in a ton of ads to burn away after that. Second bottom fight is a weird mess. Burn it down with AoE spam. Sanctified Quake will be raid-wide AoE damage. Get knocked back into a safe zone and try not to get hit by the water ring. Honestly though, the water ring does very little AoE damage at all. Also, meteors will spawn, stand in the rings for that. Just burn it down with AoE aside from that. Third bottom fight is going to be 2 birds. Tamed Carrion Crow has no mechanics worth mentioning. Tamed Alkanost, however, will be your focus as it's the one with the actual mechanics. Stay away from the green orbs as they spawn, as they will do huge circular AoEs around themselves when they hit the wall. So look for when they hit the wall. Painful Gust will be a circle based around the Alkanost itself or its shadows. In general, just stay away. Frigid Pulse will have a small safe zone inside of the circle to stand in. There's also a third mechanic that can be a frontal cone that it might do. It'll pick 2 of these mechanics to do during the fight. When it casts Painful Gust, the cone, or Frigid Pulse, it may tether that to shadows. Watch where shadows it's tethered to and dodge accordingly. Those shadows will replicate the effect. This may be paired with a knockback where you want to be knocked back into the safe zones under the birds marked by frigid pulse or behind the birds that have the cone. For the second fight, there's nothing important, only need to get it to 50% HP. Fight 3 is Chuchulain. Burgeoning Dread is going to be a raid-wide AoE that will apply an arrow marker debuff onto yourself that will forcefully move you in that direction. Avoid running into the transformation pits. Putrefied Soul is a generic raid-wide AoE. Fleshy Necromass, you want to stand in the puddles to transform to avoid this mechanic. Necrotic Billow is just a series of random orange markers to dodge. Ambient Pulsation will be a 1, 2, 3 drop of orange markers to dodge. The first ones will be in the middle, then the second ones will be dropped, and then the third. Stand in the first initial markers and then move into the third and then move into the middle once they resolve. This will give you the most time to move. Might of Malice is going to be a tank buster, and later in the fight the boss may apply temporarily misdirection to your character, casting Ghastly Aura. The misdirection status effect will change where your character moves forward according to the hand above your head. This will often be accompanied by another mechanic, so dodge the orange puddles or move into the transformation puddles as necessary. Fight 4 is Halls, where you're going to be dividing into 3 groups, middle, left, and right. Middle will have at least 4 players that must stand on the 4 squares at all times and essentially try and defend themselves while staying on that platform. They should look at the screens and then relay in shout chat, not yell, shout chat, where the laser beams are going to be coming from, either left or right for each of the halls. The halls might be different though, so be wary of that. This is the only way for the players in the halls to actually know where a knockback laser is coming from that they need to avoid. Do not use yell though to convey this information. Use shout. Be like safe zones RL or LR or whatever the screens show. Left and right hall groups should be evenly split and must run through the hall, avoiding the knockback laser, and wait for the red wall lasers that will inflict paralysis and a bleed if you stand in them. Right and left halls need to sync up when they press the button at the end of the hall and will open a door to a trivial spinning boss fight. Fight 5 is Leon the Bird and Mayonaise in the Robot. The robot has weakness to magical damage, so any caster, healer, or paladin should always be focusing the robot no matter what. Also, changing physical characters' damage to the magical type using Lost Spellforge is incredibly valuable here. As I said in the start, this is a cheap essence that you can get a lot of value of from here. The bird, however, does not have any weaknesses, so you're not really gaining anything by hitting the bird. Even if you have a physical DPS, you should be using Lost Spellforge and always funneling your damage into the robot for that damage bonus. Honestly, Lost Spellforge is huge here. I have honestly noticed that there's this weird meta where focus is really done on the bird. All casters should be focusing the robot, and physical DPS should be Spellforged and wail on the robot as hard as they can for the damage bonus. The fight is going to start with the robot alone. Mobile Halo requires you to stand in the boss's inner hitbox and will be indicated by an orange marker on the ground. Arrows will face where he will move and you can pre-position. Mobile Cross Ray as well requires you to stand away from the cardinals of the boss, and then you can pre-position for this as well, since the arrows will show where he will go. Full Powered Magitech Ray is a tank buster, and honestly, this mechanics will just repeat until the bird drops. Bird has 3 mechanics of note: Wildfire, Command, and Frigid Pulse. Wildfire Winds drops either red or white balls onto the ground. Avoid the red puddles, stand far away from them, and then stand to white. Command will drop 3 markers in succession. Their order that they are dropped in will be the order that they are executed in. Green circles mean stand in it. The other marker means that you should avoid that zone, as well as the cardinals, as it will be a big line through the cardinal directions. Frigid Pulse will be when the bird jumps to random part of the arena and will have one giant orange telegraph demanding that you get under him. The robot will sometimes dash away and cast Spiral Scourge, his ability that seems to cause the most deaths, honestly, in this fight from what I've seen. And so just a little bit more detail is you will see a spinning track put on the ground indicating its path. It will spin a lot and deal extremely high damage if you get clipped by it, as well as a knockback. Obey the mechanics of the bird, such as wildfire, red, white orbs, and this mechanic at the same time. This is what really seems to kill people in this fight. My best success with this has been waiting until just after the robot spins away and then stepping in just behind it to resolve the bird mechanic. Fair warning though is you might need to swap sprint or a speed boost of some kind for these to be comfortable. Final boss is Mecha Exdeath. Etheric Boom is going to be a raid-wide AoE. Advanced Death Ray is going to be a tank buster and should be aimed away from the group. Light Pseudopillar is going to be a set of orange markers to dodge. Advanced Death 4 will be tiny red markers on the field. These you should really stay away from, as they will expand rapidly and kill you instantly. Often during the fight you will see a very weak line damage AoE. They'll come in many different patterns, but the same algorithm to solve them really applies. The most that you will see in a row is 3. He will do 1 weak line damaging AoE and then another, and then later in the fight he will swap swap sides and then do another. Not early on, you'll just get 2 early on, but later in the fight he will swap sides and do a third. The trick here is that the order that he casts the super weak line AoE will be the order in which the ground explodes for dramatically more damage. Diabolic Gate is going to be the main mechanic that will annihilate people in great quantities. He will cast Diabolic Gate, then teleport somewhere. This mechanic then requires you to use short-term memory storage of positioning for movements. On the walls there's going to be multiple different symbols. Make note of where the symbols are initially. I personally don't memorize the symbols though, but rather the positions though myself. He will cast a line forward from his current position that will go into the gate in front of itself. This will have a symbol. There is going to be another gate in front of a different spot with that same symbol that it went into. An orb will be launched forward from that different gate and into the different symbol in front of it. That next gate with the different symbol will have another gate that matches with the same symbol that's in a different position that will launch forward the orb into yet another gate. This gate, again with a different symbol than any that you've had yet, will have another gate that's paired to it. That paired gate will launch it again, and then at the end of Diabolic Gate, each time he will cast Ultimate Pseudo-Terror that needs you to position inside of his hitbox. They'll be ready to pre-position there if possible and pop sprint if you need. At certain periods of the fight, he will spawn a series of little pew-pew robots that you need to dodge where they fired forward from. This is just going to be a line of them. This will be combined with other mechanics later in the fight, but the exact same principle of dodge the forward of these pew-pew robots applies in full. The only time that this might get tricky is when he uses this knockback called Deadly Dealing that is indicated by the tiny blue circle that will launch you forward into the wall. You need to try and be knocked back into a position to try and dodge the pew-pew lasers. Advanced knocks is another favorite mechanic for people to nom nom nom. This will be accompanied by a blue knockback that you need to position for. The positioning is that you need to fill in the missing quadrant that the 3 other exit floor markers, which is going to be the dropping noxes moving forward, are going to be missing. So at the heart of it, you are going to be moving forward at the same pace as the missing quadrant, the missing 4th nox bubble being dropped. So you tuck yourself just behind that one that left earlier. So you get knocked back to the missing nox quadrant, move forward into the one that is just left. At the very tail end of the fight, usually after advanced nox, very close after advanced nox, he's going to go into like a weird soft enraged state called Void Systems Overload. This might seem intimidating at first, but it's really easy. Red markers out, stack for stack. What will get dicey is the dice mechanic. So what happens is you will get paired with either a fast dice or a slow dice. This is actually the core thing in this mechanic, as well as there will be a sequential fan orange markers placed down. You're going to need to determine if you have a fast or a slow dice and act accordingly. You can see from a debuff timer that you can actually see if it's going to be soon or later, so look at that timer, or you can just judge above when it pops over your head. Slow dice will need to wait for the first sequential fan marker to go off and stand in the one that went off first. This is pretty fast though, so be braced for it. Fast dice will need to wait and see the 3rd and last marker, the orange markers, go down and stand on it and wait for their dice to resolve. And that concludes all the fights in here. Thank you so much for watching and happy farming.